Hey everybody, welcome to my new YouTube channel. Yay! So uh most of you probably are just seeing this when it's coming out, quote unquote. Probably know me. You probably know me from like a range of different places, either from like school, university, or camp, or your friends of mine from back home, maybe your friends of mine from here out in the desert. Um, but I want you to come on a little journey with me. And some of you are people that have like never met me or don't know me. Hopefully, are people that have like no idea who I am or anything like that. And this might seem a little weird to you, but hopefully down the line it'll make sense, like in the grand scheme of everything. So like everyone, I want you to kind of go on a little bit of a journey with me, okay? And then those that know me, you guys kind of might get a little kick out of this because some of you are gonna like, yeah, well, I know that Jordan, and some of you are gonna be like, oh, well, I never met him, because that's kind of how life is, and I mean, we like change over time, and I'm not the same person I was yesterday, let alone last year, 2 years ago, 10 years ago. Well, definitely different than I was 30 years ago, being as I was slightly larger groups of cells. But hey, what are you gonna do? So I want everyone to kind of go on a journey with me. I want you to come back with me. We're going back in time. We're back when I was 14. Okay, and I really love Jesus. And some of you are gonna already are like, what's Jordan talking about? Just kind of go with. Most of you probably know this story, but hey, kind of go with it. So like, be me at 14. I really love Jesus, and I also really love girls, the ladies, and this that can lead to some very dichotomous, tense situations, especially when discovering your bodies and whatnot. Um, but you know what? I'm really into church, and I'm starting to do the classic teenager thing. I'm starting to get, a little resentful of the parental influence. Mostly my dad. Some people it's their dad, some people it's their mom, some people it's both, and you just don't get along with anybody, which at that age I get. Trust me, seen it, been there, done it. So I'm starting to get into this like really contentious relationship sometimes with my dad. I don't really like being around him. I don't like doing what he wants to do. I want to do my thing. And to be completely honest, I see him as this like overbearing, burdensome, angry guy. And I like I don't understand, because everything to me seems like it's this like happy-go-lucky. And of course, again, some people from high school are going to automatically go back and be like, oh, that's not the Jordan I remember, or maybe it is, I don't know. But like, I didn't really want to be around him. I just didn't like being around him, and I wanted to get out. And where did I start getting out in? Well, I went to church a lot. And again, some of you who know me from different things, like, yeah, I went to church. Like, I was all about church when I was from like the age of 13, maybe even 12. That's when I got confirmed, until I was in college at age 17. Like, for those 5 years, I loved church, and I loved going to church, and I loved being in church, and I loved everything that church represented. Church was family. Church was home. Church was this like group of people that had your back no matter what. And I found, the male influence that with the positive encouragement, and like the ideas that I wanted to follow. I finally found someone. Shout out Pastor Scott. Oh man, I miss that guy sometimes. And everyone, especially guys, we want this. We want to impress somebody. We have this drive. I think it's oh shoot, Campbell John. I think he was talking about you find like a mentor, a sensei, like a rabbi, someone that like is the male figure that you always kind of wanted to impress, that you never could get your dad to get impressed by, and then you kind of go with them. And that was Scott McClymont for me, and I love that guy, and I still like. I bet he would kind of be. He might think that I'm like, now I'm doing great, and he might be a little upset at some of the stuff. But what are you gonna do? He probably, hopefully I'll hear from him. Yeah. So like all this stuff going on, all this, oh, now the dogs are crying at the door. Of course they are. Nothing can be simple in this world, right? Um, like, of course I'm going to think religion is this thing that's going to help people, right? Because that's what helped me. Like through those 5, everyone talks about their like high school years, and I was always like, wow, I didn't have a problem in high school. Like I always felt like I was pretty good, and I think it was mostly because of the religion thing. Like we go back through our history as like people, and that having that community that I had, that's like exactly what you need in a time of stress and struggle, like when you are going through puberty. So like it's no wonder I loved religion and I loved like church in and of itself. So of course I wanted to become a youth pastor, and that's what I was going to do. And a lot of you know that, especially from high school, college, you know that that's what I was, early college anyway. You know that's what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to be a youth pastor. I was going to hang out with kids all the time. I wanted to teach them about Jesus, teach them about this love that they can have that is like unconditional, that will help them through things, that it's based on the forgiveness and all this great, awesome things that like that's what I was going to teach them. And I was like, all right, that's what I'm going to do with my life. I was like, I might as well go to a place that is about this. So I went to Liberty University, which some people would think I'm crazy. Some people would think I'm dumb. Who knows? I had a blast at Liberty. Probably not for the reasons the people at Liberty want you to have a blast for. But hey, man, like everyone's going to make their own fun. So I'm like, I'm going to go and be a youth pastor. So I go off and I go want to be a youth pastor. And maybe it was me being on my own with a less perfect version of family, because again, you're away, like it's Liberty. They were really nice people, don't get me wrong. And I loved all my friends. I loved my dorm. I loved the band, all the band kids that came into my life. Most of them, okay, not all of them. There are some that they testing my patience sometimes. But hey, for the most part, like I had a group, but it just was not the same. And like they did their best, but maybe it was the fact that it wasn't the same kind of group anymore. I don't know. But I started having questions, and I just never really questioned. I always thought I was this like intellectual guy that was like, no, I believe in Jesus because like I know it was a bit conspiratorial and like, no, all these scientists, they're just lying or whatever. And I started like actually I started being skeptical of my own ideas and thoughts. And I ultimately came within a disillusionment. Like I started to think that like religion was this negative thing, that it was this like growth. Like I saw what it did. I felt lied to. When they're like, well, no, we're the scientists, and this is especially a Liberty thing. I won't blame the Methodist Church for any of this, but like, they're all like, oh, the scientists, we have fossil evidence on the other side. No, they didn't have any. There's no evidence. There's no evidence to the opposite side. Coupled with, again, there's going not safe for work language. There's going to be assholes everywhere you go. And there was assholes at Liberty, and then eventually, kind of like I was like, man, I don't think you guys have the mandate. I don't think you're right. I don't think that what you're saying is actually what an omnipotent, omniscient, what you say as an all-loving being would say. So ultimately, I was like, I don't think I can do this church thing. I came back and I'm like, man, like that's a big. I mean, if you're not a Christian, you don't really understand. Most of you probably have like a small inkling, but like I was like, well, I was going to do this thing and I can't be in church now. Like I don't believe what they believe. And what am I going to do? Well, I was going to work at camp. That fell through. That's a whole other different story. We can talk about that at a different time if anyone wants to talk about it. It's a fun time. But I was going to work at camp. I was like, okay, it's my sophomore year in college, and I'm still at this. I'm at Jesus University. Go Liberty. And I'm like, I got to finish my school. Everyone's saying you have to have a degree. And I'm like, what am I going to do without a degree? What, like, if I don't have this degree, I'm screwed. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I loved the camp that I worked with. I was working at a camp for years. I had gone to that camp as a kid. Pacomath, shout out. And I was like, I can work at camp and not be a Christian. I was still agnostic. I was agnostic, and will end up discovering more, but to an extent still am very much an agnostic in certain senses. So I don't 100% know what's going on in this world, this universe. Again, we'll get there. That's future. So I'm just gonna go and work at this camp, and I didn't have to be 100% Christian. I could be, Christian adjacent, as long as I was being a good person and not actively teaching. Generally speaking, they were really cool with people. They wanted a diversity of people, which included other faiths to be around, especially for the summer camp stuff. Slightly different now, but whatever. I was going to work there. Stuff happened. Didn't end up working there. Kind of traipsed through a bunch of other jobs. Some of you know these things. I was a substitute. I did all kinds of stuff. I was the program director for a Department of Juvenile Services facility, taking in all the little hoodlums. I love those kids. I miss my boy Malik. He's a good guy. I hope he's doing well. Malik, if you're doing well, shout out to me, bro. I know my boy Juwan is, though. I see him on Facebook, and that does me good. That they're making something of themselves. They got caught in some bad situations. That's all. It was all just dumb situations. Taught me a lot, that one there too. But wrapping it all in, years and years, I was just walking through like, what am I going to do with myself? Like, I was like, I started doing I'm going to live to like have a good life. I want to, treat people well. I want to build something well with myself. I started losing weight and all this other stuff. Well, again, those will be topics for other talks at some point in time. But I started like improving myself, and I was like, well, that's just not enough. And I started listening to my wife, Lindsay, would hate this. Love Joe Rogan. Started listening to way more Joe Rogan. I started listening to other people that he was talking to, people that I liked. Sam Harris, started meditating, I was doing yoga, stuff like that. I'm like just adding new things. And I came to this realization not even realization. I was building myself up, and I still wanted to like put something back out there. That's why I was working with DJS stuff. Like I wanted to impact these kids' lives. I wanted to give them back. I wanted to give them something to like make themselves better. And ultimately, I just want to do that with everybody. Like I loved working with my buddy Jake at camp. Jake would say he learned more with me in 30 minutes than he did in entire semesters in science class at school. And I'm like, well, you could have done that yourself, man. Like the knowledge is out there. He just didn't have anyone that presented it well to him, or he was ready for it at the time. Wasn't necessarily the teacher's fault. You never know. But that's what I was searching for. I wanted a way to give back to somebody. And then I went on this acid trip. And shocking. Some of you, especially like the Liberty kids that hopefully some of you have powered through the ramblings of the last 13 minutes and are like still paying attention to me because I was your friend at one point in time. Like I went on this acid trip, and we'll talk about drugs at other point in time if you're still with me. If you want to, it's all about what you want. And I had this realization that religion had been co-opted by this negative mindset, that you do have really positive things that come out of religion. Not 100%, not always, but look at the Mormons, like as Joe would say, nicest group of people you've ever met. Again, I've never met a Mormon that I didn't like hanging out with, that I didn't think was a friendly person. Scientology, even like to an extent, like, yes, now they have some culty things that are not good. Like, yes, we can judge them harshly for that. But again, there's been countless Christian covenant cults and sects that also have some little crazy stuff going on. Westboro Baptist Church, like there's toss-ups on both sides. All I saw was like, there are really positive things, and then there are some really negative things that get reinforced time and time again. Like, it doesn't matter what happens like eventually this negative aspect comes out and it gets reinforced. And I was just like, what if we did something better? What if we made a new church? What if we came together and it wasn't about, and again, some of you are a heretic, like, yes, you think you're different as a Christian from a Muslim, from a Jew, from someone who's a Hindu to a Wiccan, but like you go through it and ultimately there's a lot of similarities. And outside of like some very minor things like getting to go to heaven, or what heaven you go to, or things of that nature, like they all want you to do the same thing. They all want you to be a good person, to like be respectful, kind, to not judge another human any more harshly than you would judge yourself, which some people hold themselves to a really high standard. I get that. But that's like every religion, that's what they want. That's what they want out of their adherents. Every Messiah that's come through, every prophet, like they all just want, okay, not all the prophets. People are going to yell at me about Judaism, and then, you know, they were asking for tear down the walls and blow up the whatevers and take out the Amorites. And okay, yes, not everyone, but you get what I'm saying. Like the positive aspects of all these religions are all the same. It's this: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And I think if we built a church, which again, this is a philosophy, like the philosophy that I'm putting down is just a philosophy. I haven't said anything about any gods or anything, or like ultimate places of being. What I'm talking about is this philosophy that you should treat someone else the same way that you want to be treated. We should make a church that's based on that. And that's the whole idea behind this whole project of mine. I want to make a church of the conscious, that all you have to be is a being that is conscious, that is respectful, kind, and compassionate to other conscious beings, because when it comes down to it, they're just you in another body. That's all I got, folks, for this week. I gotta go get the dog. Can't you? I don't know if you can hear him or not. That'll be interesting to find out. Gotta go get Dixie and Detour. They've been outside for the last 15 minutes or 17 minutes now. And OMG, you know that means that Dixie's got to come back inside now. Then she'll want to go out in another 15 minutes. I guess it's better than having kids. I don't know. Well, until next week, I hope you've enjoyed my ramblings. And if you have thought what I've said is good, drop me a line or something. Let me know. Talk to me. People that I know and love. I love everybody. That's what it comes. That's ultimately what it is. I just love everyone. Have a good week. Peace out, guys.